All I can say after watching this episode of Ranking of Kings is mirror, mirror on the wall, what's the goddamn best anime of them all? Because this show continues to blow me away. I am loving how every character is multi-layered. That Damas isn't just gonna be a die-on-the-sword guy and will follow orders blindly. He'll start to crack and feel the pressure of his actions because he cared about Boji, but because of his loyalty made a really dumbass mistake. You have characters like Bebin, who you thought was gonna be the evil snake guy, is probably one of the most compassionate people in the Kingsguard there. And luckily, the snakes did save him like I was hoping. You have all these different personalities, and one of the biggest surprises for this episode had to be the King Bosse himself, because, sacrificing your son's power for your own gain, taking over his body, all signs are pointing to him being the shittiest father of them all. And it's not to say that I think his actions are excused. I think initially doing whatever it took to be the most powerful person in the world. He didn't have a family, he didn't have a son. So it's kind of signing that away, not having a care of the world, only yourself. You only care about yourself. It makes sense why he made that deal. But the fact that the moment he saw his baby boy Boji, he immediately changed his tune. But he's kind of stuck in a deal with the devil in the magic mirror. So it seems, now there could still be twists and turns with his character and what he's doing, but the fact that he revealed to Damas that he wants him to destroy the underground monster lair, which probably the magic mirror doesn't want, to then, Queen Hilling's kind of like most loyal guard by the looks of it, he whispered something to him as well, most likely getting her out of the kingdom so she doesn't get assassinated. The episode was kind of painting it as he was okay stealing the power, he was okay taking over the sun, and he was okay killing his wife, but that didn't seem right. That didn't sit right with me, because had this happened in the first few episodes, I would have bought into everything at face value. But this show, over the past couple of months, has proved that characters are multi-layered. They may make you mad. When characters push Best Boy Boji off a cliff, that's going to piss you off, and rightfully so. But if you're blindly dismissing why Dumas went to that length and why he was cracking and feeling like such a piece of shit, you're missing just exquisite character writing. It is so well done. I knew immediately when the king looked at the mirror and said, "Who's the strongest?" I knew it was our boy Boji. I knew it was, I just wasn't expecting that to be revealed so soon. I thought it was going to be one of those kind of anime teases where the characters are talking but you don't get to hear what they actually say. They did that a few times in the episode, and 2 of those times we got to see the actual reveal with the mirror, and then of course also with Damas. We just didn't get to hear exactly what was said to Queen Hilling's kind of loyal guard there. I think the strongest out of the 4 knights is what the king said, but still, that's a really good sign that, the king is probably playing a couple of different sides, and those that he cares for, most likely the queen and his sons, most likely he's just trying to set the record straight, probably break off the deal with the devil, take care of the magic mirror, and then most likely, based on the end of the episode, give the body back to Daida because he clearly is still locked away. That's some really good character writing, I have to say, and I'm really liking how the pacing's directing things. We got a little bit of Boji at the end. Seemingly he finished his training, as we have Kage trying to contemplate how the hell he broke a rock. But it's nice to have, an official confirmation, not just it was a freak accident that he somehow broke the rock. No, Boji, despite having his strength seemingly destroyed and sucked away, I guess he's still, with the potential he has, he's still the most powerful. I think that's really cool to see, such limitations still let this kid, because I think what makes him the most powerful is probably his unbreakable spear. That's probably the direction they're going, but then again, that training might have worked rather well. I know there's going to be a lot of pushback with Damas and maybe even Hokuro in this episode, but still, I think you gotta look at it as, we can't just blindly kill characters that we hate. If we did that, it's just kind of a shock value show. Characters in a world that basically live and die by the sword. Look at what Daida did. Daida gave the hit to kill Boji. And at that point in the story, most people didn't really trust Daida or like him. But the more we focused and learned about his struggles, the more we saw that despite making mistakes, this kid has the resolve to be the best on his own terms. You have that with all these characters. This is a very questionable time period where people will make questionable mistakes on top of having deals with devil be on the table. And just because they may infuriate you in the moment, you know that they're going to flesh out and become even more interesting, even if they're on the villain role. That's why I know the magic mirror as an example. Despite being in that typical, she's making these evil deals and kind of propelling the story forward, you know there's gotta be some tragedy or some really interesting character development down the line about what turned her into that type of person, right? That's what makes a show like Ranking of Kings not only visually stand out in an anime season in an anime year like this, which is just chock full of incredible stuff. It's that the characters are realistic for their setting, and they don't just do good or bad things because of the role they're placed in. You don't just make the evil stepmother an evil stepmother. You make her, at face value, fit the role she needs to in the public, but care for that little boy in private. You look at the king and the deal he initially made for the power he wanted, but immediately start making his own plans to take it all back seemingly and hopefully make his family be secure in the future, because you know that devil, he's gonna take Boji's life if you try to double cross him, so you gotta do the right things here, and I'm liking that. I think Damas probably has some of the most interesting potential for a story going forward. I mean, ever since he pushed Boji, you saw the cracks in his psyche, you knew he didn't want to, but he's trying to brush it off like he's just following orders and, these weak emotions. So I'm glad to see him actually visibly happy that he's, getting a second chance, and he's going to train him with a sword so they can take down these monster layers. Could the King Bosse still screw us over? Absolutely. Any character could, I think, except Boji, because Boji is a cinnamon roll. But still, that's the brilliance of a show like Ranking of Kings. You never necessarily know where it's going to go, but you always know at the very least the character writing is never going to miss, and it's always going to be 10 out of 10, alongside that gorgeous production. I think the only thing that would have been a miss in this episode is if they didn't reveal Bevin, because I think knowing that the snakes are as large and powerful as they are, I mean, the fact that initially when his body was being pulled down, I mean, only the snakes could have done that, right? It wasn't just like some magic Mother Earth thing that was just like, taking the body to rest. So it's interesting because I really like that backstory to see like the two guards were just like poking, most likely the reason it lost one of its heads. Just shitty people, like anyone who naturally tortures animals or any living thing on purpose, they deserve more than just a couple of smacks to the head. But it's interesting that King Bosse witnessed that and then, took interest in him because of how kind he was, but then most importantly, how strong he was, that even after getting clobbered with a giant ass whack-a-mole stick, still came back alive and swinging. So I like that. I mean, it's definitely an episode that I think is going to have a mixed reactions depending on how people feel about certain characters, but I think that's the brilliance of this writing, is that, humans, they make some shitty mistakes depending on, push comes to shove, and very few have the moral standards to, knock back down in the face of authority, and generally those people in a situation like this, they don't make it to the next episode, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to see how they're really exploring these characters and just the stories in general, because there's not a single bad perspective. Truthfully, I could watch 7 episodes focusing on any of the characters that we've seen and probably have a great time. Wouldn't be as good because the thing that makes the show so great is all the perspectives, but still, you get what I'm saying here. It's just they're always amazing perspectives through and through. Of course, as always, let me know your thoughts and feelings on this Deal with the Devil episode, the reveals, the revelations, the multi-layers with his characters, the fact that best boy Bevin is still alive and kicking. Let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.